Today I'm going to read you a story called Where the Wild Things Are. I really like this story, and I think you will too. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another, his mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night, in Max's room, a forest grew and grew and grew until his ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around him. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through night and day and in and out of weeks and almost over a year to where the wild things are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roar, and they gnashed their terrible teeth, and rolled their terrible eyes, and showed their terrible claws, till Max said, "Be still," and tamed them with the magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened, and they called him the most wild thing of all, and made him king of all wild things. "And now," cried Max, "let the wild rumpus start." Look at this wildness. Ooh, they're being wild. And on the next page, they're still being wild. Oh. And guess what? On the next page, they're still being wild. And they're even carrying Max on their shoulders. "Now stop," Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Look at lonely Max. Then all around from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. So he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said, "No, no." The wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes, and they showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. and sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day. And into the night of his very own room where he found his supper waiting for him. Oh, wouldn't that be nice to come back to? And it was still hot. So Max, had to get away for a little while. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes we're a little wild and we need to get away from other people and calm ourselves down and maybe go off to an imaginary place to help us get all of our wildness out so that we can be around other people and be really friendly and calm and not, freak anybody out. And that's okay. Just remember, when you think about this story, what I want you to really think about is, even though sometimes you got to get away from other people and you might get in trouble for being a little wild, we can always come back to where we are loved the most.